So former RCTS, which stands for Rigged Child TV Star, whose birth name is Jaleel White, who's famously known for his popular role as the nerdy character Steve Urkel. Did I do it? From the popular TV sitcom Family Matters. But Jaleel White gets violent on LeBron James. Jaleel says, LeBron James, you a little bit. What's up? On the dead homies. But see, this ain't Steve Urkel right here, ladies and gentlemen. Nah, this right here is my swag. It's like, no, this right here, people, this ain't no Steve Urkel. Man, this is Stefan, Steve Urkel's alter ego. See, this that slick talking guy that we seen on TV bag lore like some groceries on the TV show Family Matters. But Jaleel White goes big bad bully on LeBron James. Steve Urkel turns into Steve Will Hurt You on LeBron James. Steve Urkel turns into Steve Austin. That's right, Stone Cold Steve Austin goes straight Wolverine from Marvel on LeBron James. But Jaleel White says that LeBron James is faker than a $20 bill, with Harriet Tubman on the face of it. Says that LeBron James has been playing both sides and switches up more than an Apple playlist on shuffle. Jaleel White believes that LeBron James is fake and that he turned his whole back on Drake when it came to the Drake versus Kendrick beef. But here's what Jaleel White had to say. This article is per Billboard and the headline reads, Jaleel White breaks down LeBron James falling out with Drake. He says, quote, some celebrities are drawn to what's hot. The article goes on to say, actor Jaleel White discussed LeBron James' fractured relationship with Drake on a recent episode of his Everybody Lurks podcast, which found him alluding to the possibility that the RBA phenom will align with what's hot in society regardless of his connections to the opposition. It goes on to say the discussion comes as the musician addressed the betrayal he's seen in friends crossing him throughout the last year following the Kendrick Lamar battle on his new single, What Did I Miss? Much has been made about one Drizzy bar where he said, quote, I saw bro went to pop out with them but been D-riding gangs since headlines, calling out an individual for attending Lamar's pop-out concert, which has been tied to RBA stars LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan, both of whom were tight with Drake before the K.Dot feud. He went on to say, quote, there are some celebrities who are just drawn to what's hot. The Family Matters star explained. He went on to say, quote, and then there's another celebrity that is drawn to what serves them on a human level. I think LeBron James was drawn to what was extremely hot at the time. White continued by saying, there's certain people, I don't care how hot their event is, if I don't jive with what they are, I ain't going in it. It could be the hottest thing going, but what they stand for is not what represents me, or there's a conflict of interest. I'm just not going to go, he says, end quote. But it's almost as if day after day, celebrity after celebrity are going for the juggler on LeBron James. They are now starting to see right through LeBron James' fakeness. See, Jaleel is keeping it Jareel when it comes to LeBron James. Now, Drake versus Kendrick aside, this is LeBron James's character. As I said in one of my most recent videos, Kobe Bryant self-proclaimed himself as the Black Mamba. He nicknamed himself after a snake. But all along, we've come to realize who the true snake is, and that's Le Serpent James. This is the same man who traded his own best friend in Dwayne Wade when LeBron James was the sole advocate for D. Wade joining to play with him for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He didn't even consult his so-called brother at the time and had the man traded, and D. Wade was totally unaware. So when LeBron James talks that so-called brother talk when it comes to Kobe Bryant, and when we see LeBron James, he's fake crying when Kobe Bryant passed away. And you can tell by people's actions and tell by their mannerisms whether they're genuine or sincere or not. How do we know this? Okay, he didn't even show up to his own so-called brother's memorial in Kobe Bryant, but then his team, the Clutch Sports Camp, want to do a PR spin and do damage control when Stephen A. Smith calls LeBron James out on it, talking about LeBron James requested to be private at Kobe Bryant's funeral. SMH emoji. But this man loses purposely on nights that commemorate Kobe Bryant. So how could anyone think it's far-fetched that LeBron James didn't blood sacrifice his so-called brother Kobe Bryant, allegedly, sacrificed Kobe Bryant's daughter Gianna Bryant, allegedly, nearly sacrificed Bronny James, allegedly, and blood sacrificed others, allegedly. But we've seen LeBron James push for specific coaches to be hired throughout his career, and then throw them same coaches under the bus and roll them over in his station wagon and then have them fired when the team gets kicked out of the playoffs. He stepped to Stephen A. Smith, who has been giving him nothing but compliments and praises throughout his entire career, but wouldn't step to Kevin Gates. Remember, LeBron James is the one who went live with the Diddler and said there's no party like a Diddy party, but then unfollows Diddy on social media when Diddy got in hot water and has been fighting these RICO cases, which has ultimately turned out to just be FRICO cases. And LeBron James was all a part of that, but he turned his back on his so-called friend once again. I mean, there's an entire compilation video of LeBron James being fake on YouTube, lying. He creates this fake bond and has this fake embracing personality to make him seem like a lovable guy to the media, then has his teammates traded when they don't carry him to a victory in the playoffs. But if they do win, he gets the MVP and take all the credit. But what's crazy is this. Jaleel White in Family Matters used to have a machine that was called the Urkel transformation chamber. And he knows that he can relate to LeBron James because LeBron James also has that chamber. Yes, he does. LeBron James goes into that chamber every summer and transforms into the bodybuilder after LeBalco takes his dose of steroids, allegedly. And I know some people will feel like Jaleel White is being biased because Drake used his TV show as a song title, which is Family Matters, to diss Kendrick Lamar. And Jaleel White starred in the popular TV show Family Matters. So people may feel like he's being biased, but the man is speaking the truth. But let's spin the block on how LeBron James turned on Mr. First Name Ever, Last Name Greatest, like a sprained ankle, boy, I ain't nothing to play with. It may not mean nothing to you. I want it, it's forever, man. And speaking of that song, to Jaleel White's point, LeBron James supposedly had been rocking with Drake since the beginning of Drake's career. Remember, LeBron James was in one of Drake's first biggest videos, which is Forever, which promoted LeBron James in a Sprite commercial, I believe, way before Kendrick Lamar came along. But LeBron James been on the Drake train. Then once Kendrick gets this wave and everybody going to his pop-up shops and crip walking to They Not Like Us, now LeBron James want to be in the club dancing and partying to the song. And Drake is like, man, this ain't just a song. This man is calling me a pedo. He calling me a pedo. How are you hanging out with this man? You literally hanging out with the ops. You linking up with the ops. That's like Drake going to find Delonte West, who is LeBron James' real pappy. Not Champagne Pappy, but LeBron James Pappy. The real first father and son duo in the RBA. But that's like Drake going to find Delonte West, knowing that Delonte West and LeBron James has bad history when Delonte West went south on Gloria James. But let's say, what if Drake went and found Delonte West and gave that man $10 million in addition to that, helping this man find a well-paying job? Then people would say, oh, Drake's butthurt. He's trying to get back at LeBron James. He's trying to get back because he's lost the beef. He's on a revenge tour. Drake is being petty, etc. Now, if LeBron James and Drake were just business friends, that's just one thing. But according to these guys, they was locked in. But Drake said it years ago. I've been down so long it look like up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me straight out to my face. Okay, but LeBron James should have just stayed out of it. And like Jaleel White explained, these celebrities stand on whatever side that's trendy. And if Drake comes back with a massive hit, I guarantee that LeBron James, all the other celebrities and the sheep will be right back on the bandwagon. Because why? Because being fake has become the norm.